What's up, everybody? Hopefully you can hear us right now. We are the New Cross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan New Cross. On my side, as always, partner in crime, Sean New Cross. What an incredible show that we have for everybody. Hey, Rudy, welcome, my brother. Welcome to the New Cross Brothers. I think that's the first time I've ever seen him actually in here. Yeah, first time. Welcome. Wow, UFC 251 happened, so we got stuff to talk about with that. Jorge's been declared a massive star. I want to pick that apart a little bit because it's funny how he does something on 6 days' notice and he's a massive star. So we're going to pick that apart a little bit. Then we also have official news. Official news is that it's rather interesting that Mike Tyson has his first opponent. His first opponent for his coming out of retirement. And you don't want to miss that. That's a real treat for you guys. And as we are live right now, going live right now, UFC Fight Night is also going on right now. So this is a little bit different to have a show live on YouTube, on Facebook, right, Sean? With the UFC going on. I mean, it's a whole different world, right? A whole different ball game right now with your boys going against UFC. But hey, got to take our jabs where we can get them.
Well, considering that right now UFC on ESPN 13 is getting ready to pretty much wrap it up. So we're here. We're the after party to
That's a good
Fight
thought.
Island.
Yeah, that's a good thought. We are the official after party to UFC Fight Island 2. Wait, who's fighting right now? Because now my TV is away from me. I don't have the TV in front of me, although that might be something that we might have to invest in, have a TV in front of us. But yeah, UFC 251, we're going to start off with that first as the ball game starts wrapping up on Fight Island 2. Lazaz versus Alassane. I'm going to go with Rozdak. That's who I'm going with. I'll go with that. So you can go ahead, put that out in the Twitter sphere. Yeah, see, first fight on the main card's going now. So yeah, here we go. We're getting to the big nitty gritty. Qatar versus Ige is going tonight. And we'll have a little bit of a preview for that too. Probably by the time we get around to wrapping this up, we'll probably get to the co-main event and main event. Maybe we'll go a little bit past our time just for you guys. So it's going to be very, very interesting night. So thank you guys for joining us. Crossing that line tonight. Appreciate the love and support. As you know, we've been off for a little while. We've had some family stuff that we need to take care of. And unfortunately, if you guys know us, family is first and foremost. So we always end up coming back to our show because we love what we do and we do it for the fight fans in the combat sports world. But we're back. UFC 251 happened. And something that struck me as odd was the pay-per-view numbers. I really want to talk about that because the pay-per-view numbers are astonishing and kind of they piggyback off of what happened with Conor McGregor and Khabib. Because Conor McGregor and Khabib have still the record for the most pay-per-view buys. Jorge Masvidal and, oh my God, Usman. And that's a story in itself too. 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, Sean. 1.3 million.
You're still sour about that main event, probably just like you're still sour about the outcome of Alex the Great versus Max Holloway, which we'll touch on in a minute.
No, I'm more soured about this whole COVID-19 thing. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I mean, I'm more sour about that. This combat sports world, anybody that's been in it, bro, knows by now that something's going to get twisted, right?
Right.
You want to talk about something getting twisted? There was two things that were so freaking bad on UFC 251 that even you sit next to me during the night, he's like, you looked at me like, it's not going to go to Max. It's not going to go to Max Holloway. And I was like, why? The whole entire fight's been Max. What are you talking about?
I like how I like how you jump right into that conversation after you mentioned about Jorge Masvidal.
Well, just because it was just like a little segue, a little off ramp.
So then we'll come
little
back,
off ramp exit.
We'll come back to the overall picture.
Yes.
Of UFC 251 because we'll get into that in a minute because you want to touch about Alex the Great. Yes, I looked at you and laughed and put my hand. I love telling the story. Because it was one of those things in those moments that I put my hand on your shoulder and I said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna laugh so much that if Alexander the Great
exactly that
if Alexander the Great wins this fight, you looked at me and said, "You've got to be effing kidding me right now."
Because that was just dumb.
There is no way he wins this bout, and I was like, "No, he won this fight." He's like, "Well, how did he win this fight?" And I was like, "Because he took round 4, he took round 5. The only iffy one was round 3."
Yes.
And everybody's like, "Oh, no. Max Holloway took 1, 2, and 3. Okay? He took 1, he took 2 cleanly, decisively. But let's go back to the 3rd round. The beginning of the 3rd round was all Max. Towards the end of the 3rd round, it had become Alex Volkanovski. The tide all sudden switched. Somehow, the gears of Max Holloway started to shut down. Max Holloway went from going like what we were saying was that, okay, if Max Holloway wants to win this fight, adjustments needed to be made in this fight. He made the adjustments accordingly. He slowed his pace down. He utilized the distance, even though he didn't have the reach. He utilized the distance and controlled the outcome and was crisp and clean in his striking. But then what happened? His cardio fell while Alexander the Great got stronger as the fight went on. It was as if the punches stopped hurting. It was as if the kicks stopped hurting the leg. Everything started to slow down, and Alex Volkanovski started to see his shot, and he started to take it. What do they say in boxing? Is when you've got the last 10 seconds in a round,
you try to steal the round.
Don't play it safe because you can steal a round. Same thing applied here.
Leave that lasting memory inside the judge's eyes.
Same thing applied here. The last minute of that round was 100% all Volkanovski. The pushing the pace, the straight forward, the cleaner strikes, the strikes that were landing. You started to see it shift. Once you started to see that shift, you're like, uh-oh, I could see this going to Alex Volkanovski.
Because you saw the exact same
in the 4th round
fight last time, and the shift changed.
But the only thing different about this one, and it's eerie identical, Tristan, in the first bout, Volkanovski, the first 3 rounds. Max Holloway, the last 2. And it was similar. Everybody's like, oh, Max Holloway won. He took round 3, 4, and 5. Same thing happened here. Volkanovski was getting beat bad. The last couple rounds, they went to Alex Volkanovski. But the difference between the first and the second was it was clear, decisive, cut right down the middle because of the fact that you saw the gas tank started to empty in Max Holloway. You started to see his demeanor just shift and drop, and you're like, ooh, no, Max. You do not want to see, if you're a judge and you see somebody's demeanor just go, huh. And then all of a sudden the other guy starts coming and he's fresh as a hot dog. What do you think's going to happen? That's what happened in this fight, Tristan. And it's like, and the thing Dana White said in his post fight, and I marked it down here, I thought it was hilarious. Dana White said to the media, did anyone in here score for Volkanovski? Did anyone have it for Volkanovski? Nobody in the media? Nobody?
You would have literally been the only one. And my reaction would have been this.
I'm going to have to put on my fucking double seeing glasses because I can't even begin to see the amount of bullshit coming from you.
Facts. I had to. Because even though nobody had this, nobody. See, I got you, Rudy. Got you. Even though you had it, you were the one in a million people that everybody on social media was going ham on social media about Max Holloway getting robbed. And yet I still laugh because I don't get it. But this is why we are who we are, because we've even done this live covering events, and we'll be the only ones at the table where we would be with other media people, and we would come up with a different outcome, and sure enough, lo and behold, right in front of us, it happens. And Sean did it again the other night where he was like, Volkanovski won. And if you talk to Volkanovski 100% said he won that fight.
Because he did 100% win that fight.
But what happens now with Max? What happens now with Max?
You got to run it back. You got to run it back for a third.
For a third time?
Yeah, because of the fact that there's so many issues with the first and then this one. Even though Volkanovski won the last two so cleanly,
right?
You have to run it back for the fans' sake because of the fact that they were so up in arms about, oh my God, how does this happen? And giving death threats and all that stuff like that. Like, bro, dude, like, no, seriously.
I said Max had to make an adjustment, right? I said Max had to look deep and dig deep inside of himself to make an adjustment. At first, he did.
If you don't want to see a third, then you have to admit to yourself then that that Alex Volkanovski won.
Yes.
Won both fights.
Admit it.
Distinctively. Wow, I butchered that one.
Yes.
But you have to admit that he won both fights decisively.
See, that's how I felt about the what is it? The Fury fight. Is that you have to 100% definitively just run roughshod beyond what believable doubt and make sure that this fight is 100% on you. If you're looking at Volkanovski and you're looking at Max Holloway and you cannot honestly say that I want a third fight because he won both fights 100%, I'm over it.
You know what's funny is that it's like Holloway, he's in the chat room, is like, hey, so Holloway wasn't tripping. When has Holloway ever tripped?
He's a Samoan.
Holloway is the most humble guy.
Chillest dudes.
Right? He's the most calmest guy I think I've ever seen. And everything just like is so nonchalant to him. It's like it doesn't really matter. And that's the vibe I got from him towards the third round was, I'm here. We're doing this. I didn't really have any camp.
He trained using Zoom.
Who's not using Zoom? Zoom's used for everything.
Everything. It's Zoom, folks. Zoom.
We had that discussion in the lab.
Yes, we did.
Like 2 months ago about everybody using Zoom.
We were brought into a conference call using Zoom. I was like, you too? Like, seriously, I'm over it.
You
really do. I remember when Roberto Villa posted, because I was like, what the heck is Zoom? I have no idea why everybody's using Zoom. And then he posted the video. I was like, oh.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. I get it. But that's how he trained. But I really think that now Max Holloway needs to seriously think about going up in weight.
Right.
Has to do 155. He has to. 155 for Max Holloway, I think, is prime for him. His weight cuts have been so iffy in his career. I just think 155 is perfect for Max Holloway. And losing to Volkanovski now twice, I think that's a good idea that he should go. I just think that's the best end game for him. Now, another end game that I thought that was going, as we go back to the main event, is the Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal fight. Masvidal, I'll applaud his effort, dude. He took the fight on 6 days' notice, cut 20 pounds, which is an incredible feat in itself. I'm always the guy that would say don't do something that drastic, but if you can, go for it.
You know, when you're watching that fight, the first round was by far the best round for Jorge Masvidal. Like, he came out,
then he kind of just tapered off.
He looked good, and then you realize just how bad the 20 pounds to lose in 6 days was, how ridiculous it was to take this style of a fight on 6 days against a grappler like Usman. And you know what? Everybody's all up in arms like, oh, Usman's boring. Oh, Usman's this. But again,
he stuck to a game plan, didn't he?
I've said this a thousand times. Okay? When you fight mixed martial arts, it is mixed martial arts. Wrestling is a form of that martial art.
But it's foot stomps?
It is what it is. If you're unable to break somebody's will of what he's doing to you, that is on you.
Because he does it.
What happened here was Usman had a game plan for Burns. He had to try to switch it up, mentally prepare for a slugger like Jorge Masvidal. Well, shoot, if I'm Usman, it's like,
I'm not getting into a slugfest with Jorge Masvidal.
But at the end of the day,
way.
like, bro, like, I'm a wrestler.
Right.
I'm going to do what I need to do. Randy Couture did it for years. So what makes it different?
DC has done it for years up until recently where you grind somebody out on the cage.
Usman does it.
And they call him the boringest fighter in the world.
He's the one that destroyed Tyrone Woodley.
When he needed to.
He's the one that broke the face of Colby Covington.
When he needed to.
And that's probably why we didn't see Colby Covington on Fight Island versus Usman, because Usman embarrassed him. So he's not that boring of a fighter. He's a smart fighter. He adapts and changes to who's in front of him. I don't hear people saying that GSP is a boring fighter, but yet GSP fought the exact same way. GSP stood there and traded with people who he knew he felt comfortable with. And then he took down fighters
when he needed to.
He knew that he wasn't comfortable standing there and striking.
Yep.
But yet nobody was quick to say, oh, George St. Pierre. No. But it's Usman. Usman, you're boring. Like, bro, go look at his fights.
The only critique I have about Usman in that fight is the fact that the amount of grinding against that cage and the only offensive weapon he used was the foot stomp. That's my only gripe. Like, I love the wrestling. I love the game plan. I love the mindset. The issue I personally had was the fact that he got him up at the cage like half a dozen times, and then he landed like what? 1 billion foot stomps to the guy's foot. Hardly did he land anything that was like being extremely offensive in that category. He just didn't. And that's kind of to the point where, like, I can understand where the boring aspect comes into play, because I'm good with, if you're going to wrestle and you're going to do your job, I'm good with it. But man, there's just sometimes that Usman fights and I'm just left scratching my head trying to figure out, I see your game plan. I see what you're trying to do. But there's just sometimes that he almost fights as if he's more scared than he is in there to win, if that makes sense. Like he's not necessarily, you know what? He's the COVID-19 of MMA fighters. There you go. That's what he is. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Pro mask, not pro mask. Pro foot stomps, not pro foot stomps. Pro grinding, not pro grinding.
You know, pro grinding just sounded completely
Sean,
inappropriate.
don't take it that way.
I'm just sorry.
Do not take it that way.
That are going to listen
don't
to this
take it that
go,
way.
Wow,
you took it that way.
That's the way you intended it to be.
No, Sean, but it's funny, right? You think about it. COVID-19, the new nickname for Kamaru Usman should be COVID-19, because he fought exactly how this world is right now, completely divided, straight down the middle, issues on both sides.
And that's exactly it. You're going to find your issues with Kamaru Usman in this situation, and it is what it is. But you can't say that he's a boring fighter, because Randy Couture did the same thing. DC
Several fighters have done it.
GSP did the same thing. So it is what it is.
Man.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anybody in Usman's shoes taking a random fight on 6 days and flying all the way to Abu Dhabi It is what it is. It is what it is. And then you look at Masvidal, it's like you got to run it back. You have to give Masvidal an opportunity to redeem himself on a full fight camp going forward.
100% prepared.
Because of the fact that he was so game
to
take this fight. You've got to reward him. And then everybody's going to go, oh, what about Gilbert Burns? What about Leon Edwards?
See, you could give...
Well, then, hey.
You could give them both. So, like, you could go Usman and Burns or Usman and Edwards.
No.
And then give...
No.
Jorge Masvidal,
No, just
Nate
stop.
Diaz.
Just stop.
Why?
You run it back.
You really want that fight to happen first before Burns and Edwards.
It has to happen. And then you've got to put Burns with Edwards as the number one contender bout. That's the route you have to go. I know that you could say, oh, well, Burns was awarded the title fight shot. But I get it. But Edwards is waiting in the wings too. You've got to run it back for Masvidal. It's only fair.
See, that's the one thing I don't like.
It doesn't matter. You made this bed. You have to lie in it now. You made this commitment to Masvidal to run this on 6 days' notice.
Right.
You owe it to him. If you do not run it back for a number 2, then there will be all sorts of other issues that comes down the pipe. If you thought him on social media was him being adamant about pay, you're going to see something else from him. I'm almost 100% sure of it. If he does not get a fight back over Burns and everybody else, it's just the way that I see it. But I mean, we could talk about UFC 251 all day.
Sean, but
there's more to talk about UFC 251, but we should probably go into break and maybe come back.
Come back and talk about the Jose Aldo debacle?
Oh, my
God,
Lanta.
right? Holy cow. Yes, we're going to talk about the Jose Aldo and Peter Yan issue and what happened there. You do not want to miss hearing our take on that situation. That is incredible. We got UFC right now live on TV. My brother actually pulled it up on his phone. So we got that, what's going on. Looks like a decent fight that's going on right now. So that's interesting. Mike Tyson has his first opponent coming out of retirement.
Yeah, buddy.
More with the Ducross brothers right after this. The Ducross brothers with Sean and Tristan Ducross welcomes combat sports fans into the Warriors Den, where we bring you new and a fresh take on all combat sports news, which is an opinion-based combat sports talk show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. And we're back. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross, cross the line. We're the Ducross brothers. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Still with UFC 251 discussion. It's gone a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be.
But hold up. We got to give a couple shout-outs. Those that are in the chat room talking to your boys. Rudy Lara, Fightbook MMA, Roberto Villa, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Whoever else is out there, if you want to chat, talk to the boys, go ahead, drop us a comment. Enjoy. Smash that subscribe button. Like us if you're on YouTube. Subscribe to us if you're on Facebook. Hit that like button. In the meantime, shout outs to Auntie right here. I Love Auntie for all your CBD needs. Go ahead. Go to iloveauntie.com. Use promo code DuCrossBros. Get 10% off all your CBD needs. That stuff works. I take the oils. He takes the rub. So that's what it's all about. You can also get our subscription link for ESPN Plus to save you a little bit of percentage. It is pinned on our Facebook page.
It is also right down here in the description.
Yes, right down here in the description. That's what we're trying to do new too. Sean has put links in everything, so go ahead, click it. It'll take you right to where you need to go in your life to feel good with combat sports or your everyday life. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to us. The one that got away, Jose Aldo versus Peter Yan. This one damn near broke the internet. I was trying to figure out if people were actually going to rip through the screens and go murder this referee.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Leon Roberts is this guy's name.
When you're physically yelling at the top of your lungs at the TV screen or the computer screen or wherever you are, yelling, "Stop the effing fight, would you?"
Look.
And then all of a sudden, you just hear the off the ground, off the canvas, and you watch all those heads just go boom, and you're like, "Oh, that looks like that's gonna hurt."
When you have the announcers that are questioning it, when you have fighters on the Twitter sphere, on social media, telling them to stop this fight, yeah, I'm all for fighters fighting their way out of a bad spot. I'm all for it, right?
Absolutely.
I'm all for giving fighters, especially when you are in a title fight, an opportunity to come out fighting. I'm all for it. What I am not for is when a fighter distinctly gives up. There is nothing left in the tank. There is nothing left to prove. You cover your head and you turtle. Or in this case, you became an ostrich and ducked your head right into the mat. When you take unanswered shots, I believe the striking was 92-1.
Eesh.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
If you are not taking your... I don't... This is where it's interesting, okay? Because I don't want to necessarily bash Leon Roberts. But, man, it's hard not to, because I know a lot of referees that are in this fight game. And we talk a lot about what they see inside that cage versus what we see on the outside.
Yeah.
And we are very transparent with them. They're very transparent with us. And I think that's our kind of like our uniqueness that we have going, is because we see things vastly different than what many people are, because film study, knowledge study, everything's there. So when we speak, we know what we're talking about and what we're seeing, and we're trying to articulate a way where you guys understand what we're seeing and what we're trying to get the vision across. So when we talk to the referees, we're trying to get a mindset of, this is what we're seeing outside. Can you kind of like explain to us what you're seeing inside the cage from your angle? From our angle, we can see blah, blah, blah. So we have opened those doors with several referees. There was an issue tonight on the ESPN card where a fighter took you could say if it wasn't or not, but an elbow to the back of the head.
But it wasn't to
right.
me, at least. I didn't see it.
Right. I would like to see a little bit better of a replay. But anyways, he damn near almost fell outside the cage. You as a referee should see that door is opening. And no, you're literally standing right there watching a dude know damn well he is out of it, falling backwards. Could have been very bad news. Could have been very bad news. Leon Roberts has a job. Has one job. And that job is to protect the fighter at all costs, and the fighter cannot protect himself. It's not like other fighters where they're getting beat up to no hell and you're expecting your corner to throw in the towel. The minute you turtle up and you give up and you have nothing left in the tank, you're done. You bury your head like an ostrich and you give up and you quit.
When you take so many shots unanswered and you see somebody's skull just bounce off the canvas.
It's as if Leon Edwards said, well, we're on Fight Island too. If he dies, he dies. And that's a bad mindset.
I love that when you said that, like somebody made that comment after your post, and I was like, dude, that's so bad.
But isn't it kind of a reality when you're seeing what happened? No, really?
All right.
Rosnick lost, really?
I can kind of see that because the last two.
Rudy, it's actually hashtag UFC Fight Island 2. UFC Fight Island 2. Just saying.
But yeah, I could see how Lazaz ended up winning that fight. Allah Hassan did pretty good, but I just don't think he had a lot of the striking that Lazaz had in that fight. But to go back to Aldo and Jan is like when you look up Leon Edwards and you looked up who he is and what he does, and if it's the same Leon Roberts that I found as a referee,
right?
I'm gonna let this marinate for a second, okay? Sherdog in referee rankings has him listed as the top 10 referee, and he was known in the UK and has gone big fights and is the guy considered in the UK as one of the best main event fight referees.
Then what went wrong?
I don't know. So if it's the same guy, then it even further puzzles me in how
you could allow that to happen.
Exactly. And so I was like, I hope that my research is wrong in this sense.
Wow.
Because if this is that guy, then
thought he was better than that.
Right? But the fact that Sherdog has him ranked top 10 in referees, the fact that if you look him up, he's been in a lot of big fights. He was the guy that went viral when Access TV had their show with Boss Rune and them guys.
Yeah.
He was the guy that went viral on one of their shows because he choked out another fighter because he aggressively continued to strike opponent that the guy had knocked down.
That was him?
Yes, and he jumped him and put a rear naked choke on the guy. But yet, when we circle back to this night, when Peter Yan bounced his head, Aldo's head off the canvas twice.
Now I have so many more questions. So many more.
Right?
A supposed top 10 referee. The legend around the combat sports circle about the referee choking out somebody was this guy.
Yep.
And he had the whole mindset like, dude, it's Fight Island. If he dies, he dies. What the heck happened?
No clue.
Did COVID-19 get to his brain? Did we not test him?
You are on that COVID kick tonight, aren't you?
It's Fight Island. Fight Island where anything can happen.
Where anything apparently goes.
I don't know. Dude, I've seen some videos out of Fight Island that I'm like, dude, seriously, that is weird. Some of the stuff is weird. If you look up hashtag Fight Island and you look up some of the social media videos from fans to fighters, oh my God, it is weird. And now you're telling me this guy, Leon Roberts? I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
I had to let you guys in.
Well, thank you for letting me in, but now just, wow. A top 10 referee.
I was like,
the guy that choked, the legend that choked out, allegedly choked out a guy, made it to Access TV.
I was like, ooh, bro.
Almost allowed Aldo to die.
I was like, bro. Like,
on Fight Island.
Do I really want to let my brother know this? I was like, let me keep this in my little holster right here, and I'll pull it out when I feel like I'm good and ready. Bam!
What's that song? I almost feel like saying, where's your daughter right now to sing it? I'm a savage. That's what he was, apparently.
Yeah, he was.
I will change my tune. Leon Edwards, you're a savage. Just saying. You're a savage.
Oh, but man.
No F's to give, apparently.
But it's like you're almost wondering how is Jose Aldo going to come back from this fight? And then it's like, where does Peter Yan go from here?
I don't want to say that his star has diminished. I don't want to say that it might be possible now would be the time that to hang up the gloves, right? But I do contemplate what is left for him.
Yeah.
And I think maybe one fight that might be interesting is Dominic Cruz. But outside of that, man,
I only got 2 fights on my list.
What? Which are?
It was supposed to be Marlon Moraes.
What does he have?
He has COVID.
Thank you.
Your trend tonight. COVID is running rampant everywhere.
With the 20-year-olds, I'm just going to say, #COVID.
What? #COVID.
It happened tonight on tonight's show.
#Z Generation. Go look up Z Generation, then you'll know why I said that. But you look back and you see, well, I only got Marlon Moraes was my number 1 ace in the hole. And then after the whole COVID thing, my next ace in the hole is, how many more times are you going to deny the kid? Aljamain Sterling. You've got to give Aljamain Sterling his due finally. Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. I just don't see it any other way. And you look, but the thing though about Peter Yan is Peter Yan got stronger as the fight went on. As the fight went on, he got stronger, he got quicker, he got more crisp with his striking, especially later on in the rounds. It was like you felt bad for Jose Aldo that you saw this coming. You saw that he was going to get hit by a train and he had nowhere to go. He was lying up on the train tracks, and unfortunately, Peter Yan was coming right through it and nothing was stopping him. And sure enough, not even the referee.
That's why part of me, like, I was hoping for that fight that my gut was telling me, go with the legend. Go with the legend. And Jose Aldo, because you kind of wanted to see him get that title, turn around his career, because he didn't win his last fight, although he got thrown into a title fight. So I was hoping for Jose Aldo's sake that he could possibly turn this around. Yeah, no, not against Peter Yan. Not against Peter Yan. And then you're talking about tonight, what's going on ESPN. You got Qatar versus Ige. You have Tim Elliott versus Ryan Benoit. That's an interesting one to begin with, because 1 minute it wasn't a co-main event, then it was, then it wasn't, then it was again. And
see,
this whole lineup just changed.
See, this card so far for UFC on ESPN 13, it's been interesting. But we'll wrap up the talk of UFC 251 at the end. What was your thoughts of it? It lived up to its hype. It was great. It was fun all the way around.
Just a couple minor issues with the judges.
Absolutely.
The judging was a little bit suspect.
So it plays into this card tonight.
I don't think Masvidal is as big of a star as what everybody is talking about. Because I think this is still a lot of it plays a little bit of both. You know, there's a factor of the intrigue with Fight Island, and there's a factor with Jorge Masvidal. Go on Twitter, search UFC Fight Night 1, and it's about the event tonight. I also have Fight Night Island 2 also trending, so I have no idea then. Because UFC 251 was actually Fight Island 1. Tonight's Fight Island 2. Then you got Fight Island 3 coming up. So, I mean, to each its own. Whatever. It is what it is. It's UFC. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's Fight Island. So,
right? UFC, the 3 events were UFC 251 on Fight Island, your UFC on ESPN 13 on Fight Island, and then July 18th is on Fight Island.
I would love to tell that to UFC, but guess what they would do? Probably shut us down again.
Right.
So, no, I'm good. I'm straight.
We're not going to tell UFC to do what they want to do.
Right. Last time we did that, we lost our Instagram. No, we're good.
So
they apparently have money to shut down the little guys. So, no, I'm good. We're still trying to fix and rebuild what we had from them shutting us down.
And,
so,
it ain't working.
No.
That shadow ban's real.
Right. That shadow ban is real. So, no, I'm good. If you ever get shut down by UFC, then you go to try to pick a fight with them, don't do it. Ain't worth it. Ain't freaking worth it.
It's a lost cause. That's
100%.
That's just automatically a fail.
Yes.
Part of me says, like, dude, we should just shut it down completely because it's like you're shadow banned. You can't come back. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
But it's kind of ridiculous to see that UFC on ESPN 13 that comes back after a big card like that. And they put on this card and you look at the main event, you got Kattar versus Ige. That's going to be probably a chance to be the fight of the year, fight of the candidate. The whole card's been pretty decent from like what I've been watching.
Surprising to me, at least.
So bravo for UFC to hang on by a thread. Thank goodness this is on free TV. But I think that July 18th fight card as well should have been on free TV, not ESPN Plus. Unless you do have this subscription, then you'll be perfectly fine.
Yes.
But the Kattar versus Ige fight is a price of admission on all of its own because these two guys are going to press. These two guys are going to stand and trade. It's going to be fireworks booming over there on Fight Island tonight.
What's interesting, though, is that I do have to give an applaud. See if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. Just to Tim Elliott. I have to. I have to do this for Tim Elliott. He's the effing man coming into tonight. He's the effing man. I'll tell you why in a second. So while everybody's talking about Kattar and Ige's fight, I want to talk about the man Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott,
The journeyman?
you're my hero. You, my friend, are my hero. I'm sorry, Sean. He is. I'll throw it up. I have a heart for you.
Jesus.
This guy, listen.
And I thought I was on one tonight.
Listen. This guy,
Listen, Linda. Go ahead, continue.
last 6 fights, bro, he's 2-4.
Oh, and he's the co-main event, right?
Right. Last 3 fights, this dude's 0-3.
And he's the co-main event, right?
This fool negotiated a co-main event on this fight card. Also, in the meantime, negotiated a new contract, a 4-fight deal, negotiated to get a co-main event, and negotiated a pay raise, all not winning a fight in the last 3 times.
Bro, like Aljamain Sterling should go find his guy.
Yes! Tim Elliott's my hero. You can lose every fight, your last 3 fights. Be your own judge, jury, and executioner. Get a new fight deal, get a pay raise, get a co-main event, and never win a fight. Do it the Tim Elliott way. My man.
Oh my goodness.
My man. Tim Elliott. True man. True boss right there.
You're everybody's hero.
Yes.
Key up Nickelback for me, please.
But he gets handed a raw deal though. He gets Ryan Benoit. And no, we're not talking about Chris Benoit's son. Or Ryan Benoit, another guy that's kind of like he's an interesting guy because his whole entire career has been up and down like a seesaw. Like a teeter-totter. That's Ryan Benoit. So trading wins and losses. He's been sneaking training in New York, sneaking in training in Dallas. Whatever you got to do at some point, right? If you got to figure out how to do training, you got a guy that's doing training via Zoom. Now you got training where you're sneaking into facilities. I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it at this point. You really do.
You got to figure it out on your own and hope for the best.
Everybody's shutting down, so do what you got to do.
Oh, but yeah, dude, the Coleman event should have been Jimmy Rivera versus Cody Stamann. That's where it should have been.
I thought so.
That's where it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're looking at it, it's like, dude, that's the co-main event. Those two guys are going to push the pace. They're going to be ruthless. They're going to be relentless. It'll go perfectly into the main event.
Yep.
That's the type of guys that they are. So that's where my head's at. But it's been a good card for free TV. The girls fighting McCann and Santos right now. I'm liking Santos a little bit better than McCann right now. Ooh, Santos just missed a overhand right. So clean. McCann's going to want to get this fight to the mat.
At some point.
Yeah.
Why are they stopping the fight? What did she do? It didn't look like it was anything illegal.
I'm trying to figure that out too. But
okay.
McCann's going to want to get this fight to the mat. She does not want to stand there right now with Santos.
But Sean, who do you got out of the main event? You got Qatar and Ige.
I'm gonna go Cater.
It's tough for me to go for Cater because Ige is undefeated in his last 6, and it's been 2.5 years since he last lost. Like, that's really hard to go against a guy that's been undefeated.
I guess we'll find out. So you're going Ige, I'm going Cater.
Yeah.
We'll have a fun time watching the main event. But so then you got the next one on Saturday, July 18th. You've got Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2 for the vacant flyweight title. Officially announced today that it will be for the flyweight title. Now this comes with Jesus Murphy. This comes with its own bottle of controversy because Figueiredo tested positive for what? COVID-19. And yet he is expected to arrive in Abu Dhabi and be cleared to fight against Benavidez. Okay.
You don't like that word, but it's a reality. It is an issue worldwide. And I ain't talking about the 305. This is a worldwide issue. And it's just going to continue to grow and be and affect a lot of sports. It really is.
It is. And you know what it's somebody else's issue, Tristan? This is Benavidez fighting Figueiredo for the second time.
Yes.
Figueiredo knocked out Benavidez in the first bout. We're seeing this for the second time. Benavidez has not beaten a top or champion in quite some time. He could not beat Mighty Mouse. He could not beat Henry Cejudo. He could not beat Figueiredo. What makes it so sure he can run it back and finally beat somebody of elite caliber? I'm expecting Figueiredo to run right through Benavidez and make him the glorified gatekeeper now of the flyweight division. He'll be always towards the top, but
doing just enough,
but unfortunately not over the top.
Right.
And I see that going no different. But, however, this comes with its own issues as well because of the fact that Figueiredo has missed weight. Kelvin Gastelum's on the card.
Who has missed weight.
So what will the weights be like come fight night? Or weigh-ins, excuse me, for these two gentlemen. Kelvin Gastelum is returning, coming off of back-to-back losses, so he's 0-2. He's the co-main event.
And we're dealing with the pandemic.
Against Jake Hermanson.
We already saw an event called off due to a fighter missing weight by what, 8 pounds in boxing?
Yeah, 8.7 pounds. Holy shnikes. Holy shiitake mushrooms.
That's just you dealing with quarantine, sitting on the sofa, pounding back cheeseburgers.
Or ho-hos.
And Twinkies. That's what you're doing. Dude, Sean, check this out. One of our guys that we have followed through amateur ranks, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I saw a photo of him. He is almost a little over 200 pounds. And he used to fight at 155.
All right, off air, you're going to have to show me this one.
Yep.
You're going to have to show me this one. I got to see this one off air.
I was like, wow. Okay. That's what quarantine does to you.
Quarantine life.
Yep, it's real.
I mean, you saw it at the beginning of the show. Look, I got quarantine hair now.
Quarantine hair, yes.
My wife doesn't want me to cut it, but it's like it's getting to the point that I can't go get a haircut.
Because guess what? They're shut down again.
So it's getting to the point that I'll be like, bro, can you shave my head again? We got to go backwards.
I'll look on YouTube to see what if I could learn how to become a barber. See what I can do. See what I can accomplish.
People have been.
I mean, during this quarantine, I already picked up bartending.
Kind of.
I'm a decent bartender now.
Yeah, not bad.
I almost thought about bringing on some cognac onto the show today.
I think after this show, with how random it's been, I think I'm going to pull out a Martell after this.
Yes. I almost had a bottle right here.
Sip on some Martell cognac.
Yep.
And watch some Watchmen, or maybe on Netflix, Kingdom finally made its way over.
Yeah, and everybody loved Kingdom when it was on air.
Yeah, it was on DirecTV for a couple seasons, and Netflix picked it up for 3 seasons. So I'm interested to see what that one's all about.
So maybe we pop that. Maybe we sip on some cognac and throw back some Kingdom shows. Maybe. But too bad we really have to talk about the Mike Tyson situation here before we leave.
But hopefully Kelvin Gastelum
makes weight.
And that UFC on ESPN plus 30 Saturday, those 2 fights I'm interested in. It'll be interesting to see what the plan of attack is in those fights. Hopefully Figueiredo makes weight. Hopefully Gastelum makes weight, because then it'll be a fun night of events. But so we got so much more still to talk about. So much more. But let's go to a break, and then we'll come back.
Really? You want to do that?
Yeah, let's go to a break.
Okay.
You can figure out what you're doing right now.
I am. I'm trying.
And then and then we'll come back and we'll try to hit at least a couple more topics. Mike Tyson, his return is announced. So we got that.
It's gonna be good.
We were aiming to talk about UFC, Reebok, but maybe we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, we'll see where we go from here. We may take some topics out because we're running a little bit short on time, but we'll see how this goes.
All right. So going to break. We're the Ducross with Sports Warriors. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. We'll be right back to finish up the show. Hope you guys are enjoying it.
All right, so you guys are watching the DeCross Brothers, the Sports Warriors, right here, Wednesday nights, YouTube, Facebook. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Android. You can find us all around. We're easy to listen to. You want a different take? We're your show. All right, Fight fans. Your boys are back. Sean and Tristan Ducross here. Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. bringing you a different take on what is happening in the combat world. So right now, we have the wonderful news. Mike Tyson's return date is finally announced. August 9th, Mike Tyson returns. Yep, folks. We finally got it. Mike Tyson returning for a fight. But what type of fight? Is it bare knuckle? Is it a boxing match? Is it charity? On Discovery Channel. Mike Tyson versus Jaws. And guess what? Michael Buffer will be calling the action.
It's real.
Let's get
Ready to rumble inside the water.
It'll be his first fight in 15 years versus CGI shark.
Hey, I applaud the effort. I really do.
It's amazing.
Mike Tyson's first fight, he takes on Jaws. When I first heard taking on Jaws, I thought they were doing a reboot to the Jaws movie. And I thought Mike Tyson was going to be in it.
Right?
I was like, oh, that's going to be an interesting take. Mike Tyson in a Jaws reboot. No.
So Mike Tyson returns
Yep.
to fight Jaws. Mike Tyson has already previously returned in wrestling. Man, this guy's doing everything the exact opposite of what people thought he was going to do.
Facts.
And he said that he wanted to do this versus Jaws because it's him fighting himself. Because he's so scared to get back into the ring at his age. This is him fighting his fears.
That's very true.
So it's interesting.
Very good standpoint.
It's an interesting take on it. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to look on TV. So we're going to want to make sure that we can go ahead and see this and take a look at how everything's going to be filmed.
Nowadays, Sean, everything's able to be filmed with cinematic kind of stuff. So it does not surprise me that we might get a cinematic fight between Mike Tyson and Jaws. It's going to be cool. I'm down.
Who's not down?
I'm down with the Bray Wyatt swamp fight. Cinematic. I'm down with the bar fight between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. I'm down.
I'm not down
The
for the
CGI eye for an eye fight, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins.
Then I hope to God that Rey Mysterio retires and we never see him again.
Right.
Because it's about as bad as when Rey Mysterio lost his mask and he wrestled for all those years in WCW without his mask and then goes to the WWE and he magically wears a mask.
All right. So before
that storyline never happened.
All right. So before we get out of here, Sean, real quick, Bellator returns on the 24th.
Yes.
So that's cool.
So we'll talk
about that next week. UFC has a new outfitter with Venom, so we'll grab that next week as well. And Jarrell Miller, his issue next show. We're the New Cross Brothers Sports Warriors. Thank you guys for tuning in to us. Appreciate it. Subscribe to us. Smash the like button. Stay up to date with your boys, Sean and Tristan New Cross. Hope you guys love the show. Enjoy the time that we have. Shout out to Auntie, ESPN Plus.
The links are in the description for the show on both Facebook and YouTube. So until next time, same bat channel, same bat time.
Yeah.
We'll be back
if anything happens, we will let you know and keep you in the know. So we're the Cross Brothers, Sean and Tristan. Cross that line. Join the Warriors in the Warriors Den. Till next time, we're out.
Showdown. Now the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.